I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexei, and with me is your favorite special guest, Bogdan Kurkan. Hi, Bogdan. Great to have you here.
Hello everyone. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And of course, who else could I invite as my special guest for this moment? It is the final match of the Carcassonne Champions League, where 48 of the world's best players were competing for title, glory, and I think there are some actual prizes here as well. But we're going to discuss that a little bit later. So today's finals, the last stream, unfortunately, of this league, where Vladimir Kovalev with a screen name someone you know will be playing against Vivien Charlot with a screen name Viv. So both obviously very strong players and have had quite the journey in the playoffs. So I have it on my screen right now. Let me just scroll it a little bit over here. So both convincingly, Viv defeated Vladimir Chendev 3-0 in the semifinals, and I'm still salty that Vladimir defeated yours truly 3-0. I have to say his level was really strong, and he found some moves I thought he wasn't supposed to find. So certainly he's in top shape. But also before, look at this. In the quarterfinals, someone you know defeat Batal Albato 3-0, and they've defeated David Garcia 3-0 as well. And both are the top players of their respective countries, Lithuania and Spain. Again, also, someone you know 2-0 in the quarterfinals, no, in the previous round, right, in the previous playoff round against the top Hungarian player. And how did Viv play actually? Let's just look at this. Yeah, also like against the top Chilean player, like 2-0. So these guys have just been completely unstoppable in the playoffs, and but somebody's winning streak will have to come to an end today. So who do you think will win today, Bogdan? Someone you know or Viv?
Yeah, so as you said, they are both undefeated, so they don't know how to lose a game in the playoffs. Since now, I really saw a very good level of Carcassonne, so I watched all the games so far. But I think that Vladimir has a slightly advantage. He's in a very, very good shape, and I'm rooting for Vladimir today.
Yeah, I have to say, of course, Vladimir has the reputation as well. And I think really what I've noticed in the semifinals match, he just has exceptional grit. There was the third game where I thought would have had it completely in the bag, and then he found some resource, just some sort of small 10-point city that gave him a comeback. And he's very very resourceful, and in their mutual history as well, like Vladimir has had the slight edge over Viv. They've played in tournaments a lot. They've played in World Team Carcassonne Championship and in the European Championship, and but you know, who knows? Vivian's also in great shape, and I expect it to be a close game. And I think for once this shouldn't be a 3-0 sweep. I think here we're up here for a longer stream. Well, we have many viewers already. Hi Nalaheim, hi Pavlo, hi Nico, hi Glovier, hi Sergey, hi Girapa, hi Sergio, hi Vika. So I need to remind you all to meeple the like button if you enjoy the stream, and also to subscribe unless you already have to. We're very close to the magical threshold of 1,000 subscribers. So, also would be nice to know in the chat who's rooting for Vladimir and who's rooting for Vivien. See if the fandom is equally distributed. Just a reminder that this is a best of 5. That's Viv here. So whoever achieves 3 victories will be the first one, will be the one to win this match. As you see, they already set up the game, but it might be a few more seconds before they actually start. The French player, 37-year-old, and his opponent is 32-year-old I don't know why this information is relevant. It's just they chose to share it. Alrighty, so Vivien is playing the red meeples. He starts with a city, and immediately someone you know who plays the green meeples responds with the road. As you can see, very good rating here in the upper 700s, great shape, and the upper 600s for Vivien. Of course, both players have been at the top of Board Game Arena above 800 at some point. Now comes the first move, where the Frenchman actually needs to think a little bit. Oh, I'm gonna move the thing a little bit. Yeah. So. This triple city tile. Well, let's see what the French players actually like. So they could either add to their own city like this and just keep building, or they could try to break Vladimir's cities over here, and this will really show... Yeah, and he wants to break the city instead, so more of a blocking strategy. Someone, you know, gets a nice tile which allows him to continue his city and renew the threat of completion. Just 2 city caps remaining. Someone you know is the first one to draw the monastery as Vivien continues his city up top, wants to build a big construction over here. Someone you know presumably gonna meeple the monastery right here for 4 points and create an attacking platform of the city and gain control of all these squares here up top. Just a simple road tile here for Vivien. He continues attacking Vladimir's city. And Vladimir now gets another monastery, which is a huge tile. He's now, of course, immediately stacks them. And with that, I would say the play with the green meeples has quite a sizable opening advantage.
Yeah, fully agree with you, Alexey. So, yeah, he drew the 2 monasteries.
Okay, we do seem to be back, as there have been some developments in the game. So someone, you know, has completed a beautiful 16-point city over here. However, he just got his meeple blocked by Vivien. I think it's a very small price to pay for such a huge advantage on the scoreboard. I really prefer here the position of the player with the green meeples. The Frenchman, in the meantime, tries to block 2 of the green monasteries. A city tile for someone you know presumably will go over here and create some pressure against this city. All right, are we back at it? I hope so. Both players are now starting to think a little bit more. So, ooh. Let me actually try do this again. Sorry about all the issues. Okay, we should be back. Yes, it's Bogdan, you're back too. It's on me. I guess the weather is not that great where I'm located, but we're trying to persist through this final. So both players are luckily starting to think longer and longer and longer. And there's probably not going to be any disruptions anytime soon. So very interesting move here by someone you know trying to save both of his monasteries, not trying to attack this city, not trying to attack this city, but instead going for meeple security.
It's nice to see Viv thinking a lot, so I really like it.
Yes. So as many people know, Vivien is not the player who typically thinks for a long time, but he's forced to. His position is really not that great. I mean, he has the meeple advantage, but Vladimir is the one who has all the points. Look at all these monasteries points over here, the extra scoreboard points. Now he has another tile, which presumably going to go over here. I mean, what else is Vladimir going to do? I can also, but knowing Vladimir, actually, I can try another move. If he goes over here and drops a farmer, I can also see that happening. Very interesting tile. What move do you expect here, Bogdan?
To be honest, I don't see a very, very good move. So maybe I would, yeah, he just drops it. Yeah, I would have taken the city with the Dorito with the road, but yeah, he chose something else.
Yeah, if anything, I would have taken the city with this tile, with the one which Vladimir used to save his monasteries. I would have placing it over here. And
Exactly,
then,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder what Vladimir's reasoning is because I felt like these monasteries were not particularly threatened and not really mandated saving. But again, Vladimir has had such a strong performance recently. I'm sure he literally knows something about this game that we don't. I know that Vladimir is quite aggressive in point scoring, but I think, more than the average top player spends time on saving meeples. Sometimes it serves him very well. Sometimes he might lose some value because of it, but that's his style of play. So now, again, a very interesting situation as Vivien uses the crosshair tile to start a new field and impede Vladimir's city, and this totally works because this tile would have gone here. Green could have added to his city, but he didn't. But now, look at this. Vladimir adds 2 points to Vivien's city just for the sake of unifying these two meeples and maybe blocking the city later. But the question is that worth the 2 points? And also, these two cities are not blocked yet. Dorito here, Dorito here, Dorito here, Dorito here. And with a successful tile run out, the player with the red meeples might end up with a big game-deciding feature here.
Yeah, agree. But if the monasteries of Vladimir will get blocked at some point, he will be in trouble because he has also the meeple on the bottom blocked on few points, and if Vivien will just create a counter feature like this big ruin to compensate the monasteries and maybe the road under the monasteries, then I think he has a chance also. So it's not like a big advantage for Vladimir now. But let's see how the game will develop. So yeah, Vladimir tries to harass this ruin and tries to build around it.
This is a very creative move by Vladimir. That's a great way how to play with only one meeple in hand. So he plays this empty city cap over here, and he does not meeple it. And the idea is that if Vivien were to take the 4 points, which is of course an understandable move, the compensation that Vladimir is getting for this 4 points is that this square here is getting increasingly vulnerable. And then somebody else is going to score 4 points over here, and this will create an opportunity to block this square. And this square, as Vladimir gets a fantastic tile that gives him a boatload of points, well, 6 points to be exact, but then Vivien responds in kind by taking 4 points for the city, and also this farmer now plays very beautifully. There are also more farms that can go over here. There's another 9-point field, and Vladimir cannot claim it with this tile at least, but I know some other things that Vladimir can do. He could start a new city over here, or he could go here and bother both this square and this square at the same time. And honestly, I have a feeling that Vladimir might opt for the latter, but let's see exactly what he does. He has 2 minutes on the clock and a Dorito with a road tile. What would you do if you're Vladimir here, Bogdan?
I think I would just extend my city on the bottom because there are not so many tiles, only the triple city with road and this kind of Dorito. And I need to score points also with that one. So if I forget about him, then it might be problematic. Maybe also dropping a farmer with this move, but yeah.
Actually, I really liked your suggestion, Bogdan, here, and also with the farmer, with the idea that this 9-point field is going to be claimed soon, so we might as well start attacking this field to join. But Vladimir has a different idea. I think his top priority is blocking one of these 2 squares, and now we see how big of a problem this move is, because there isn't a single tile that Vivien can use in order to defend this square without further attacking this square. That's why the Frenchman doesn't even bother. He just simply tries to attack Vladimir's city instead, and so far it works. This tile would have fit over here very well, but the player with the green meeples is unable to place it over here, and because he didn't listen to you, he didn't open up his ruin as you suggested. He's now not able to continue his ruin, so instead he continues his monastery, hoping to eventually get this meeple back.
Now a very good tile for Viv, monastery with road. He needs to create compensation for the two monasteries that that Vladimir has. So this is a good chance to maybe to start a monastery, or?
Absolutely. So the compensation is certainly a great idea, but the problem is, like, where exactly do you start a monastery? This board is not very suitable for monasteries. I guess here there's a 5-point spot which also could prolong your field. So for example, imagine you place a monastery meeple over here, then you take a monastery, another monastery, and put a monastery meeple over here. You have two monasteries, and at the same time you've turned your 9-point field into a 12-point field by expanding over here. But then there's some problems with this. Vivien also has a limited supply of meeples. So if he places a monastery, he's going to have only one meeple remaining for scoring quick points. And by expanding this field, he makes the field susceptible to attack. So that's why he chooses not to do it. This is very interesting. Instead, he chooses to drop another farmer, and he tries to win simply with fields. Maybe he wants to build a big field, but I kind of doubt if that's going to be enough. Vladimir has 10 points on the scoreboard, and he has these two monasteries which are very, very likely to come back to Vladimir's hands. It seems that maybe this whole thing was a tiny bit premature by the French player, but only time or a few moves will tell. So very.
What about this move from Viv with the simple curve?
I don't like it, but I understand
Me
it.
neither.
I think I know the purpose behind this move. The purpose behind this move is try to threaten a splitter. You see this tile over here? There's one more remaining in the deck, and it fits very nicely over here. And if the French player draws that tile and places it in this square, he will be able, with a couple of extra tiles here and here, threaten the completion of this city, which would certainly put him back in the game and then some. But Vladimir makes a very interesting move. He starts a counter field up top, and he chooses to finish his city instead of going over here and perhaps blocking this meeple. Vivien now gets a crossroad tile, which goes exactly where I thought it would. He gets 3 points on the scoreboard and a meeple back, and suddenly this square becomes relatively safe. Somebody is going to draw a curve, go over here, score 3 points, and then the threat of completing this city will be much more real. Not only will Vivien be able to draw a splitter tile that fits into this square, but the same type of effect could be achieved with a couple of triangle-shaped city as well. Moreover, if we try and put these triangle tiles over here, then this field will merge with this field, presumably, will merge with this field, and all of that over here will turn into one big Brazilian field fight. And it's a question which of the two players will benefit from all the fields merging into one.
I think the French player, right?
Probably, yeah. The French player is behind. The French player wants a little bit more variance. On the other hand, it is Vladimir who should have the long-term meeple advantage, because on average, these monastery meeples, or at least this guy, are going to come back to Green's hand earlier than any of these two city meeples. On the other hand, because this quadruple road tile had been drawn by the Frenchman, this square is dead, meaning that this meeple is now dead. This meeple is not seeing the light of day, at least for a few more moves. And once the Frenchman completes this city, he will be one meeple up and ready to maintain the majority on the field.
Yeah, indeed. So Vladimir needs to free up at least the one monastery that he has with a simple Dorito, just
I
to
think
keep
so.
up with Vivien.
Exactly, yeah. So trying to use his meeple sparingly, Vladimir takes 2 points for a row, does not meeple a monastery, while Vivien draws a great tile to continue his city up top and start a new one at the same time. Someone you know here getting a dagger tile, thinking where exactly to use it. Presumably we could see 3 quick points over here, but this is not exactly a given, so he's now deliberating. Of course, Vladimir loves quick points. He does not like to forego them, and not only does he take 3 points, he also prevents Viv from taking the same 3 points. Now, presumably we're going to see... I know what we should see. So, some interesting moves here for the Frenchman. Of course, he could always go here, try to continue his city, or he go to here, try and continue this city. But a move that
Or
he could
meeple the
try,
field,
or meeple which field?
so just put it on top of the city that was just dropped and meeple the
Ah,
field.
this one. This is very interesting. And then he could then maintain a 3 versus 1 majority on the farm. This is a very interesting move, and he might actually play it. But I had something else in mind. The move which I really like is going for the Ukrainian technique. Going over here, meepling this city, and then saying that Vladimir will be forced to continue the Frenchman's city in order to finish his monasteries. But he chooses to do
Yeah,
none of that stuff, which honestly is not something that I particularly like, and it almost seems that he wants to separate this farmer from this farmer, and Vladimir uses that opportunity. He now drops a second farmer, and he's prepared to invade through here and maybe separate through here and have a majority on this 15-point field on the right. I mean, the play with the green meeples is just playing excellently, and with 14 points on the scoreboard, with the lead on the farm right now, and with the monasteries, I would say that he's in a commanding position.
yeah, agree. As Viv here, I would maybe close my city and then try to score some points with the extra meeples that I have. So currently, as you can see, all the meeples of Vladimir are stuck a bit, besides the one on the monastery. And Viv should find a way to come back to score points and to free up his meeples as fast as he can.
Certainly, that sounds like a strategy. I mean, there's still plenty of things the Frenchman can do. The Frenchman can find ways to attack the big field and, for example, take the points for all these castles. He can threaten to finish this big castle. It's still possible. Chooses to gain 4 quick points, which sort of makes sense to me. Vladimir, of course, takes 3 quick points himself, and it does seem to me that Vladimir is very close to gaining a stronghold on this field with a meeple minority. If only he goes over here, then even though Vivien has plenty of meeples, this field will be very, very hard to attack because there are basically no attacking points. So from Vladimir, I mean, I expect one of 2 moves. Of course, he could always continue his road at the bottom just to get 1 point, but it does seem that 1 point won't do much for his winning chances, and I would expect a move here up top that simply eliminates this field attacking opportunity and at the same time creates a blocking threat against the big city.
Now he chose to continue the monastery.
Oh yeah, of course, the monastery instead of the road, because later on he can gain a couple of curves and then continue his road in such a way which also continues his monastery. And I think I know why Vladimir didn't go for the move that I suggested, because his idea is to wait until the Frenchman places the tile over here so that he can use the newly created blocking platform and attack this square up top. When Vladimir used to stream on his channel in Russian, he shared a piece of wisdom with everybody, and I was there to witness it, is that if your opponent has a feature which you need to block in 2 squares, which has 2 sensitive squares, sometimes the most productive, like if you need to block in 2 places, sometimes the most productive approach is to actually block nowhere and just wait. And this is exactly what he's doing. Well, interesting developments here. So Vivien is now using this tile, the triple city tile, to attack the field, and to attack the field with tempo. He's hoping to get a curve, and the curve would gain him not only access to a field, but also 5 points. And with the tile in hand, Vladimir can't really do much about it. So the move that I expect from Vladimir is just going over here and taking these 5 points.
The thing is that there are no Doritos with road. So if he points the city into, he blocks a bit the connection. Only one city cap with crossroad remaining, and that's it. Or I think that's it, because the daggers are out. So only one tile fitting there. I think it's worth to do it.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not a fan of this move, because there's still a tile that goes over here, and Vladimir has a good lead. If he were to just take the 5 points for the road, I think he would be completely fine. Whereas if Vivien draws the tile that fits into this square, he will be able to not only get the 4 points for the road, but also get this farmer in. On the other hand, if Vladimir successfully blocks the square, well, there's really nothing that the Frenchman can do to win this game. So certainly this move here is probably quite strong in terms of the winning chances. And look at how hard both players are fighting. Vladimir sacrificing his city cap just to create a blocking platform. Viv sacrificing a point-scoring tile just to defend. And really a lot of things are revolving around this square. Someone you know now with a simple curve, he'll probably think hard what to do about this. But while he thinks hard, let me just say hi Jose, hi Eduard, hi Amiris, hi Ramses, hi Vladimir, hi Claudio, hi Andy, and asking, is it also blurry for you? No, it isn't. The stream seems to be just fine. I'm streaming in HD. If it's blurry for you, just go to the stream settings and make sure that you have the highest definition available in your settings. In the meantime, a crucial tile drawn by the French player. The shielded Dorito tile now creates a sizable ruin worth like 15 points or so. And there's still an absolute real threat of this city being completed if Vivien draws a city cap and another city cap over here. I believe this city is still alive. So what will Vladimir do about it? He tries to block the top part of this city, a simple straight line for the Frenchman. Now he thinks where to put this straight line, perhaps over here, to create some sort of defense, which is actually not a real defense, because I'm quite surprised that he chose to play this move this quickly, because there's still one starting tile that fits into this square. And with that move, he eliminated the opportunity to finish this with a starting tile. But he must have had his reasons.
It's only a Dorito fitting there, and also the tile he needs to connect to the field. So
well, actually, but there's no Dorito. So
okay.
honestly, I think it's a really blunder by the Frenchman, because he needs this tile over here, and he needs the same tile over here, but he can only have it in one of 2 places.
Yeah, dagger. I wanted to say, not Dorito. So dagger, right-handed dagger.
Oh, but all the right-handed daggers have gone out. 1,
okay,
2, 3. So in fact, the only tile that fit into this square is a tile like this, which the Frenchman needs over here. So I do think it's a massive oversight here. And that could prove quite costly. Although I do think I understand the Frenchman's logic. I think he wanted to avoid a certain situation. If Vladimir were to get a triple city tile, he could have gone over here and made sure that 0 tile fits into this square. So he now is preparing for the worst case scenario. He is preparing, if Vladimir blocks the square, then at least the tile that the Frenchman would have needed for this connection, he will be able to use over here for the city to create a threat of completing this city. So this is how I understand the Frenchman's move. It's still very flimsy, but there's certainly some logic behind this. And with 11 points behind on the scoreboard in a very precarious farmer and facing these 2 monasteries, which will imminently come back, which will imminently get completed, I mean, the Frenchman has to try something.
Oh, here it is, the tile. Can Vladimir attack again this field? Let's see.
There we go. So huge move for Vivien, 4 points for the city and connecting to the farmer. So yeah, this is of course the cost of moves like this. Basically it cost Vladimir 9 points. That's something. Because he chose not to take 5 points for the road when going for this block. And of course now the Frenchman's able to take 4 points for the city. So it is of course quite a stroke of good luck for the Frenchman. But something the play with the green meeples had to prepare for, of course. City cap for Vladimir. Presumably he's going to take 4 points somewhere. This is exactly what he does. This city is now no longer a threat. They're no longer tile that fit into this square. They're no longer tile that fit into this square either. Oh, look at that. We have, hi Ramses, we have viewers from Cuba. Are we going to see a Cuban team at the World Championship anytime soon? That would be nice. Straight line for Vladimir. What exactly does he do? I don't think he needs to attack the field again. He just needs to stay put and try to stay out of trouble, or he needs to prevent the Frenchman from attacking the field. But how exactly does he do that?
There is an entry point on the right. I don't know how many curves are there, but there is a ninja farmer.
That's a great point. Let's count the curves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No curves remaining. But if there were curves remaining, then of course there would have been an opportunity to attack over here. And look at this very, very interesting move by Vivien. He tries to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Starts a 5-point city and at the same time hopes to finish it. And at the same time, are there tiles that fit into this square? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there are no tiles that fit into this square. So it did seem that it looked like this farmer here is about to invade the main field, but not really, because all the monasteries are out, all the regular vanilla city caps are out. So actually now, the player with the green meeples just needs to count whether there are any city caps remaining with which Vivien could be finishing this city. And if there are, then there's a neat blocking move available. If he just plays a Dorito tile over here, there will be 0 tile that fit into this square. But Vladimir realizes that he doesn't have to do that. He just simply gets the points from the monastery finally, because there were no city caps in fact remaining. And this is it. I do believe we're going to see Vladimir's win. Oh, nice. So there's something happening in Cuba, Carcassonne-wise. This is absolutely great to hear.
9-point difference, right? It was tight.
It was indeed tighter than I expected, if I'm completely honest. But look at this, a fantastic performance by Vladimir, playing with a meeple disadvantage, trying to secure a majority on the main field, despite the fact that the Frenchman had more farmers. And also Vladimir got kind of unlucky with the fact that the Frenchman entered the field. Also Vladimir got kind of unlucky that his monastery meeple here was stuck for so long that he was unable to draw a Dorito for such a long time. And also he got kind of unlucky that he lost the coin flip over here and that his meeple got stuck. And he got unlucky in all these places, and yet he still won. So that's how strong this player is.
Yeah, the funny thing is that Vivien drew the splitter, and if he had patience with the big ruin and not placing the Dorito and connecting those two meeples, then he would have closed one 10-point city and meeple back.
Right,
so,
yeah.
But yeah.
And actually, this would have given him the win because he would have gotten the meeple, and he would have gotten the extra points for this farmer over here.
Yeah. Okay, so game 2 is on already.
All right, team.
So Vladimir scored 2 short roads, quick points, 4 points in total. And we've started a city, but not successful. I think Vladimir put the big city tile there to block a bit. They changed color. I'm a bit confused, at least in board game arena.
Oh, that's too confusing. Yeah, I was hoping they would stay the same. But anyway, so it's now Vivien who plays with the green meeples, and I'm so not used to that.
Yeah. What do you do as Vladimir here? Just grab quick points? 2 points?
I like quick points here. Yeah, I'm not I mean, this is a decent move. I'm normally not a fan of those because what essentially you're saying if you play a move like this is that you want to draw a Dorito before your opponent does, but the odds are against you because your opponent is going to move first. So what I would have preferred instead is Vladimir is maybe taking 2 points over here and preparing a ruin for myself to counter this ruin here that Vivien has.
Yeah, because Vivien wouldn't start 2 ruins in parallel. It doesn't make any sense to have 2 ruins.
Exactly. Yes. But well, now simple curve for the Frenchman. Variety of things. I like this weird move over here. I like going here, meepling the road. Let's go. Yes. Oh, lovely. Content move. Quite risky stuff, but the payoff is huge. If he manages to get one of these guys, one of the Doritos with the road, he's going to continue his city and he's going to gain a majority on this road. And there's just so much value for the Frenchman. But look at this. Vladimir's gamble up top pays off. He does draw a big tile before Vivien does and make sure to equalize the city up top, so that's super helpful. Vivien takes 4 points for the road and now equalized on the scoreboard. He's still 1 meeple short, but he has this road threat and he has this ruin, so it's a relatively equal position here. Lots of things are still unclear in this game.
Yeah, there are no triple cities with road, so Vladimir could cut off now Viv from the ruin and continue his ruin in peace.
I love the suggestion, Bogdan, because if he goes over here, then he'll be able to add all kinds of city tiles here up top and continue his ruin. For example, all the 3 extenders are still remaining and they could give him a bunch of points, so that would secure the play with the red meeples some a small advantage in a winning mini battle. But maybe he has something else in mind. Let's see.
Yeah. I don't see any valuable move now. Okay. Interesting.
He chooses to simply start a road. I don't know about that, but that's interesting. Let's call it that. Presumably, we're going to see a little city move here by Vladimir. Either he's going to start a new city up top, or, oh, that's lovely. He starts a city on the right, and he wants to attack this square. It's not exactly clear how he's going to do that. Actually, if you're Vladimir, you might want to go over here and meeple this city, but he chooses not to do that just yet. I think he wants to get a road tile and separate this meeple from the main road. Dagger tile for Vivien, and he makes a very interesting move. He actually is trying to protect the square because he's hoping to draw a city cap here and a dagger tile here, and he hopes to finish the city at the same time when he's going to take over this road. So quite the gamble here by the French player, but the chances for that happening are pretty good. Now Vladimir is forced to use an awkward tile to invade this city. Vivien can just cut off this meeple right now by placing this monastery here if he wants to. But maybe there's a better move. Not this one. I don't like it. I don't like this one bit. I think a much stronger move for the French player was to go over here and to protect this invasion square and to control this meeple. That would have been so beautiful. And the only thing that the French player did was create a beautiful monastery spot for Vladimir. 7 points and virtually unblockable. Once something is placed over here and over here, Vladimir will get his monastery meeple back. I think this is a serious mistake here by the French player. It was so important to protect the square. And as a result, Vladimir will now be able to block off this connection. And this is all as a result. And look at this. Vivien now starting a new city, so maybe something will happen. Something good for Vivien. Maybe he wants to get a Dorito and then another extender, and then another extender, and then a city cap with a crossroads, and then finish a gigantic city here like this. But the chances of that happening are not that high, as Vladimir gets a meeple back, 4 points for a city, and equalizes on the scoreboard. Vivien gets the last dagger tile. He uses it to finish his city, but the problem is that he also blocks his own monastery, basically, because there are no tiles that fit into this square. And if Vladimir draws one of the 2 remaining extenders, so still a good chance of that happening, he's going to go over here, and he's going to connect to Vivien's city, and he's going to finish his monastery without finishing Vivien's monastery, because again, this square completely blocked. So honestly, so far I like Vladimir's moves much better than I like the Frenchman's moves. However, it is the Frenchman who has more points on the scoreboard.
Yeah. But if if Vivien draws the parallel cap, the city caps before Vladimir draws the extender, then it will be nasty for
And actually, I don't know what the exact probabilities are, but I know for sure that Vladimir has. Oh yes, and this is exactly. And look at this. And the thing that you said exactly happens. And the reason why the French player had the slight advantage here is because there were three of these parallel cap tiles remaining, and only 2 of these guys remaining. And just before Vladimir was able to connect over here, Vivien was able to separate. And now there's a big threat of him drawing one of the 2 remaining city caps with a crossroads and completing this city. Well, someone draws one of the 2 tiles that fit into this square. So now there's only 1 tile remaining that would enable the Frenchman to get this meeple back and the points for the city on the scoreboard. And Vladimir also now gets 6 points on the scoreboard for these 2 3-point roads, frees up his meeple, and creates some unpleasant threat for Vladimir. Vivien now makes an annoying move, blocks this guy. This meeple is actually completely blocked. There are no dagger tiles remaining, I think. Or are there?
Yeah.
No dagger tiles, exactly.
No dagger tiles, yeah. So Vladimir has 2 meeples blocked on 3 points. This is quite painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Vivien has only one meeple blocked but that's for 8 points. But maybe this doesn't matter that much because someone now finishes his city, his monastery, sorry, and then drops a farmer for quite a low number of points, which makes me surprised. But as players exchange quick points from cities up top, ooh, this is fun. Vladimir likes to dropping farmers on fields which have few points, which have lots of green squares on them. But in the meantime, Vivien says, you know what, I'm going to try and simply build a huge city, complete it, and win like this. And this is still absolutely doable. This ruin is already worth 6 points, and there are still tiles, like a starting tile and a Dorito, for example, that would complete this city and give the Frenchman a boatload of points.
Here you
And yes. So he draws one of these tiles, now only one tile away from completing this city. But of course, there's an easy move for Vladimir. With the curve over here, he can prevent this because look at this. All
there are no
5
tiles
Dorito tiles. Yes. All of them are missing. So there is nothing at all that fits into this square. So this is a great tile counting from the player with the red meeples. Nice recognition, and now he gets 4 points for the road, and the scoreboard lead becomes quite substantial.
I'm not sure about the move Viv just did with the straight line. It was just throwing it away.
Yeah, maybe there was something stronger, but it wasn't quite the easiest tile to play. Vladimir now gets a Dorito tile. Yeah,
he tries to block also I think Viv miscounted the daggers, because he tries again. He drops this Dorito here, trying to block Vladimir's meeple.
Well, we'll now find out for sure. No, he knows.
Yeah,
he knows.
Okay.
Yeah, he just needed to drop the Dorito somewhere, and the painful situation here for the French player is that Vladimir does find himself in a winning mini battle. He just keeps adding city points and city points and city points, and there's only so much that the French player can do about this. Now, we have a lot of viewers where, well, I'm not sure if we're going to break the record just yet, but just a reminder to meeple the like button so that as many people as possible find out about Carcassonne Champions League and competitive Carcassonne in general. And of course, if you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe if you want more content like this. We're very close to having 1,000 subscribers, which would mean a lot for this channel and for me personally.
And Nalarheim is right in the chat. So that straight line that I was saying that I did not understand the move was to prevent drawing the road monastery and extend the field with 6 points.
So yeah, so that's an excellent recognition of that opportunity from the part of the French player, because if Vladimir were to draw this would have been really devastating, and the position is as devastating as it is. As Vladimir draws yet another good tile, probably gonna go over here, start a new city, or he could, I mean, he's just gonna drop it in his field. Of course, he's gonna. Vivien gets a city cap, 4 points on the scoreboard, but Vladimir gets a city cap and he chooses to score that city over this one. It sort of kind of surprises me that he wouldn't want to add a city in his own field. Surely he has his reasons. Still, both players are waiting for the tile that fit into this square, especially the Frenchman. He needs it so bad, and there's still one of these guys remaining. He needs to draw it really soon. Now, this monastery tile, he can't really do much with this monastery tile. I don't know, he could go over here, meeple a 6-point field and hope that he just draws this guy on the very, very next move. It doesn't sound like a good idea. Only 1 in 10 chance to draw the magic tile on the next move.
Yeah. The problem is that the monastery with road comes with a 12-point field, which is, yeah, really, really important. And maybe, yes, this is the move, yeah.
That's why he just does this, and he hopes to get his meeple back soon. He just wants to prevent Vladimir from grabbing a 12-point field. But Vladimir doesn't care about 12-point fields. He cares about getting 7-point cities, 4 points for the city, 3 points for this farmer. And at this point, the only thing Vladimir needs to win this game is just to make sure that the Frenchman doesn't get this tile here soon enough. This game is so exciting that honestly my voice is getting a bit tired, so I'm gonna go and grab some hot liquid. In the meantime, Bogdan, can you please
Yes.
Yeah, take over for announcing the action?
Sure. So now Viv drew the road monastery, but actually, yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, he just closed the road, restricting Vladimir the points, easy points. Then Vladimir just drew the simple curve, and yeah, to be honest, that was a good tile for Viv to extend his field, but not now. I don't see a very, very good move with this curve. Maybe, yeah, exactly blocking that road. But yeah, Vivien just managed to extend his field and also dropping another city cap. And with this road, I think Vladimir could restrict one city cap, but I don't know if it's worth, because the other city cap remains open. So if there are still city caps, I do not count. But if there are still city caps, then yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
He might just go for a 5-point
So,
road.
or this, yeah. So the important tile was not drawn by by the French player or by anybody so far.
Well, I mean, he has to draw it on the very next move so that he can get
the meeple.
yeah, so that he can still take advantage of the meeple. I'm not sure if even that's gonna be enough, to be honest, but at least he's gonna make it close.
Yeah, the problem is that it gives back also Vladimir a meeple. So if Vladimir, I think he needs to meeple in this turn a feature, because if the French player will draw the... Oh, why? Okay. Okay, then
Yeah.
Vladimir draws it.
But
Yeah.
I have to agree, I think he needed to actually go over here and meeple this road. Or he could just draw the tile that fits into this square. So that's nice for him. And also a 6-point field. A bit an annoying ending for the French player. I mean, certainly quite a good tile draw for Vladimir with both of the critical tiles drawn, but I have to say, I like Vladimir's moves in this game here much better. He has been more precise. He navigated all these critical situations very carefully, got the high ruin up top, really bothered the Frenchman with all this road in this city over here, ended up with a completed monastery, and I think overall it is this move, this monastery placement, that cost the French player this game. I was saying all along, this guy belonged over here, then this city would have been just fine, this road would have... But by failing to place this monastery where it belonged, the Frenchman allowed Vladimir to place this critical road tile, restricting the square, not allowing the road steal, leading to Vladimir's win by 13 points. And he is now has the match point. He's now 1 win away from claiming the Carcassonne Champions League title and 1 win away from crossing yet again the 800 ELO threshold on Board Game Arena.
Yeah, it's very interesting that Vladimir drew, I think, all the big city tiles, the quadruple city, the triple city tiles, everything he drew. And normally these tiles are not that, good, or taking a lot of points with that. And he managed to get it through. Interesting. Okay, the third game. Is it the last game? What do you think, Alexey? I think Vladimir is in a very good shape, and he's also inspired. He's inspired and plays the better moves.
Yeah, honestly, I think like as much as I would enjoy to seeing a full best of 5, and as much as like seeing more Carcassonne, I have a feeling that even though Vivien has the starting player advantage, even though he scores the 4 points now, just Vladimir has something going for him in this championship. But who knows? We will find out in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Vladimir starts an awkwardly placed city, and Vivien now has good roads, slight advantage here for the Frenchman. Maybe something will now happen here his way.
Maybe he wanted to control the French players' road with this. Just making sure that that meeple will not go back in Vivien's hands soon with the city. Well, it happened.
Yeah. Vladimir Chendev from the viewers is saying that Vladimir Kovalev, the player's plan for the game, is just to switch on Lucky God mode. Well, I have to disagree. I mean, the tile draw has been great, but he's also making really, really good moves, so it's certainly not just luck.
Look, what a beautiful monastery spot there.
Okay, some of that is luck. Especially if like Vladimir draws the second one, I think that's it. Like I think if a second green monastery comes there, we have our Carcassonne League's champion, because it's just such a good place. And well, the scoreboard leaf for the Frenchman, that's nice, but like, what does he do with this tile? I presume start a new city somewhere here, maybe up top.
Or bottom
I think
right.
you never continue this city. You just need to leave it alone.
Or bottom right to prevent dropping the second monastery.
Yeah, but actually, it's not preventing. It's only helping the second monastery.
Yes, but preventing with the next move, like dropping a city tile pointing to that square. Okay, interesting choice.
I don't like that. Don't like that one bit. Really don't like that move by the Frenchman. I understand it, but it just does not work most of the time. And now he basically disallows himself from finishing his city. If he goes over here, he makes his city super vulnerable, and he's probably now forced to go here and attack this city, I guess.
I think he has to attack the city now with this tile.
Yes, because if he doesn't, I mean, imagine if someone draws a Dorito, he goes over here. Well, that's some risk that he's willing to stomach. And self-invasion. Oh, Vladimir did not give us content. Honestly, I like a second meeple over here, but Vladimir says, you know what? You're not going to attack my city now. Maybe you're not going to attack my city later. Maybe I don't even have to invest in meeple. And honestly, he might just actually go over here and try to finish this city on his very next tile.
Yeah, all the tiles are there, right?
Yes. If he goes over here, there's going to be still 5 tiles that finish his city immediately. Or he might be patient and just finish his city here instead. Or go over here and start another city and attack the Frenchman's city at the expense of making his own big city more vulnerable. again, like Vladimir has. Well, because of the monastery, it's the slightly better tile draw, but overall, I prefer Vladimir moves over Vivien's moves. Just finishes a city up top, and true to his style, drops an early 3-point farmer. Well, now the Frenchman has time to fix his mistakes, sort of, kind of, but it's such a good tile. He can probably go here and like meeple this, try to equalize the city, but look at here, it fits perfectly. You finish your city, you start another one over here, or you go over here, you finish your city and start another one over here. It's like the Frenchman needs the same tile in 3 places, but where exactly will he put it? What would you prioritize, Bogdan?
I will prioritize the big city, to be honest, so I will just hope for the triple city or, yeah, to connect. I think that it's more likely that Vladimir closes this big city, and with the second monastery it will be just, yeah, that's it.
But he chooses not to do that, and I would have to agree with you, Bogdan. I would have prioritized the same as you, but this little piece of greed is certainly something I can empathize with, but it's a very, very risky thing. So, of course, Vladimir now does draw the second monastery. And look at these 12 points over here. This has to be so painful. So, come on, Vivien, you could find it. Ukrainian technique. You go over here, you meeple this. No. You go over here, you meeple this. You have to find... This is okay, but it's not the strongest move. This is not the strongest move. I think it makes sense. It prevents Vladimir from finishing this city quickly, because look at this, 1, 2, 3 tiles now needed to finish this city. But I really would have preferred this tile over here with the red meeple on it to impede the development of the monasteries and at the same time create an attacking platform from the city. But the French player chooses a different approach, a legit approach, but not the one which would have given the best content.
With this tile, I think Vladimir just attacks the city on the left, right? Not letting Vivien to score 6 points alone.
That would make sense to me. That would make sense to me. This also makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to finish his monasteries and also kind of pre-finish one of his cities here. Just drop a city cap. And look at this, this is very, very smart by Vladimir, because his idea is that the Frenchman needs a city cap here and a city cap here, so he will be disincentivized to use this empty city cap over here. So in all likelihood, this thing will create a 4-point city for Vladimir, not for Vivien. This is exactly what happens. So risk-free 4 points for Vladimir and an extra monastery point, and he's 1 tile away from finishing his monastery. So will the Frenchman go here? Honestly, I think this is not the worst move in the world. You go over here, there are only 4 crossroads remaining, and you really try to freeze up these 2 guys. But he chooses to go for the point scoring approach, and honestly, I would have tried blocking here. But different prioritization for the Frenchman. He tries to play like Vladimir normally plays. He tries to be very aggressive on the point scoring. He is currently 7 points ahead, but all of these green features here just look completely terrifying. Vladimir now makes a super strong move, if you ask me. He continues his city, protects the city from invasion, and protects his monasteries from attack. It's just beautiful, beautiful play. Very difficult find here from the play with the green meeples. I have to say, this move today impresses me probably than almost any other move played earlier today.
Yeah, I agree. It's just beautiful. Now if this tile closes the monastery with extra points.
And also later he's going to draw a city cap that gives him a city point and a monastery point. And now Vladimir is ahead on the scoreboard. Vladimir has 8 points over here. Vladimir has a ruin, likely not a city, but still ruin worth like 10 points or something. And, well, a difficult position here for the Frenchman, to say the least. How will he navigate? monastery tile, start a new monastery, excellent choice. Someone, having a city tile. He actually just goes for the ruin. He still is threatening to complete it.
Yeah. It will be hard though, because it will become vulnerable, attackable at some point, but yeah, why not trying to do it?
It's all about the threats. It's all about just making sure that the Frenchman has to spend tiles and meeples to connect to it or block it and so on. And in the meantime, Vladimir will just be happy building something else over here, and collecting some quick points. Well, now curvy tile here for the Frenchman starts a ring road. I think excellent choice, because he wants to finish this road with tempo, and then when he does, he'll create a vulnerability here. Vladimir presumably going to continue his idea of finishing the city.
I'm not sure, because it will create a platform for the French player to attack the city and connect with the triple city.
Yeah, but why don't we just YOLO? You know what I'm thinking is, many of road plus city tiles are out. So actually, it's not that easy to invade as it seems. It is possible to block, but if we go over here, in order to block, the French player will need to use a curve, which he already needs over here, which means that this meeple will stay here stuck for longer, which means that Vladimir will have more time to draw something for this square.
Yeah, and it's already a 13-point ruin. I think it's big enough to be blocked and to score it at the end. So
also,
will he play it?
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking myself if play it or not. He wants to just close the city and put the game in his pocket, and that's it. I think he waits for a better chance to... Oh, here you go.
He does it. I knew it. I really like it. And what does Vivien do with the straight line? He can't do nothing.
He puts it on bottom, and what?
No, that's all good. I mean, what else can he do?
Put it on the bottom and try to create attacking platform from the bottom.
Yeah, but I think his idea is that he wants to draw a curve and only then create an attacking platform.
Yeah, but might be too late. Now with the starting tile, Vladimir could wait for the triple city. So he drew, as I said in the last game, he drew all the triple cities, and now again he drew the triple cities. I think it's his day to draw the triple cities, so he might go there. Anyway, it's also a defensive move.
Or he actually might go here, start a new city on the right, and then wait for the Doritos, because there's still 3 Doritos remaining. And at the same
Also
time,
true.
this stuff here is vulnerable, so he could draw a... Yeah, check this out. If Vladimir draws a Dorito tile, he goes over here. And if he draws a triple city tile, he goes over here and breaks the Frenchman's city. So the player with the green meeples has good uses for basically all tiles.
Yeah, I agree.
Vivien now tries hard to attack. I like this move. He wants to draw a Dorito tile and connect over here. Now gets a farmer. Finishes his loop. It's a good farmer. All he needs to draw is a triple city tile or Dorito. The odds are slightly in the Frenchman's favor.
But there are
Vladimir
still
just
3
keeps
vanilla
building his own
caps
stuff.
remaining. Okay, good. Look at that.
Well, yes. Just in time. Just in time. So actually, now something might happen here. Because... Oh, this is beautiful. Vladimir chooses to re-attack this ruin. with the intention of drawing a couple of Doritos and having a 20-point ruin and a meeple back from the monastery. And attack is now successful, and Vladimir now covers up. He will now cover up the ruin. He will not go over here to finish his city. He will not go over here to block Vivien's city, although he might. I think Vladimir is now going to go over here, and he's now 2 Doritos away from just a devastating city. And I have a feeling, even though it's only a 25% chance, I have a feeling that this is actually happening. Vladimir is going to draw both remaining Dorito tiles that fit into these 2 squares and finish this game with like a 50-point city.
Yeah, possible. What can he do with this straight line? Maybe harassing the city on the left, but there are still Doritos. One Dorito is road. What is this? Okay. Almost neutralizing the monastery of Vivien. With the last meeple, it's very counterintuitive move.
I think it's just to prevent Vivien from meepling the road himself. Very, very interesting. Well, I don't blame Vladimir for that, because he can get a meeple back by finishing a shared road. He can get a meeple back by getting a road end up top, or he can get a meeple back by getting one of those city caps. So this city here is pretty safe. So Vladimir is not going to stay without meeples for a long time, whereas Vivien, even though he has like 20 points ahead on the scoreboard, he's not in the easiest position, because this monastery, this ruin, still belongs to Vladimir, and it will make hard for the Frenchman to come back. Presumably a city move somewhere here on the right. He'll have to choose the orientation, either replace the city cap pointing to the right or pointing upwards. Oh, but instead he just chooses to develop his own field. That's a viable approach. He could now attack the road, I guess, if he cares.
Yeah, I think so. Even if there are a lot of crossroads in the game still.
2 crossroads, actually. I wouldn't say that's a lot. I think we need to go here, honestly, because we would be preventing Vladimir from drawing the one remaining triple city with a road, or the one remaining monastery. So there's still road end tiles that go over here, and that could give Vladimir's meeple back. And as the play with the red meeples, we need to keep green without meeples for as long as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, we having, I think, a viewership record. I'm not remember if I ever had this. We have over 60 viewers now watching at the same time. So thank you all for that. Vladimir Vivien knew something that we don't, because the move that we were suggesting would not work, because Vladimir did draw one of the 2 remaining crossroads. He gets 7 points on the scoreboard and a meeple back, and important move for the Frenchman. He gets one of the 2 Dorito tiles, which means that Vladimir will not be finishing one of these 2 cities. And this also means that Vladimir will not be finishing this city as well, as Vivien attacks it and tries to join it.
But still, the remaining Dorito is quite important for Vladimir, so if he draws it soon, to free up the monastery.
It is quite devastating, and if there's still one Dorito tile left that fit into the square, and if Vladimir draws it, not only will he get 9 points for the scoreboard for the monastery, his ruin will grow to like 20 points, I think. But if Vivien draws the Dorito tile, he can go over here, equalize these cities. This meeple will stay trapped, this meeple will stay trapped, and I believe this would keep the Frenchman ahead.
Yeah, he also has this field of 9 points. Vladimir only 3 points. Of course, possibly 6. But I think there is the possibility to close the city on the left, right? Still by Vivien. I think so, right? So there is one Dorito with road, if I'm not that tired. Yeah.
And also there's the opportunity to get the one triple city with a road and then a city cap. Like a back-to-back combo. Well, Vladimir makes a very, very strong move trying to develop his field here, but Vivien starts a monastery and then the Dorito tile goes Vladimir's way, and I believe this should do it, right? Because the student is just so big. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm completely not sure. But Vivien has the scoreboard advantage. He just finished a big city on the left as well, and he has the 9-point field and he has a 7-point monastery. Like, I'm not sure exactly who's winning. Vladimir now presumably going to score 7 points, 4 points for the city up top and 3 points for this farmer. It is going to be close. Vivien now shares the city on the right. Also very good tile for the Frenchman, but Vladimir has 2 meeples and he can use them. I'm pretty sure he's going to go over here and drop a farmer. Or will he?
Yes, I think so. It's the case now.
But actually, maybe he could just go here and drop a farmer, no? Like for a 6 points. He doesn't even need to try and connect to Vivien's farm.
The problem with the 6-point field is that there are 2 fields of 6-point value, so I don't see the rush to take it.
Well, maybe if you have 2 meeples, you could try and take both of them.
Yes, true. But at least the one on top should be taken because it's the one on the bottom is more restricted. I think he should take the 6-point farm from the top. I wouldn't bother to attack the 9-point field that Vivien has.
He still wants to count everything out. Like, he likes to be precise in the end game, as any top player would. Also, we actually might go over here, like meeple that 6-point field and try to connect the 2 fields together. Just for fun. There are no curves remaining anymore.
What about straight lines? 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think there might be one straight line. I'm not sure about that. Oh, no straight lines remaining. Yeah, look at this. He takes the field from the top, and now Vivien's not able to take the bottom field. So he just prolongs his monastery by 1 point.
If there is a city cap still remaining, he shouldn't take the... exactly. He should just clear off that one. Yeah.
Precision. Always precision.
Yeah.
Beautiful play here. And wait! Vivien doesn't have moves. He doesn't have good moves. He can only go here and meeple 1-point city. He can score 2 points at most.
Yes.
So it's a bit of an unlucky tile draw at the end. Well, actually, no. Vivien, I think, made a mistake. He should have meepled that city cap.
I think so. Yeah. Thanks for the match already. So he.
So he knows.
He knows that. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I think it's gonna be very close, though. Let's just look at the score. It is excruciatingly close.
3 points or so? No, 6,
5
5,
points.
5. Yeah. Okay, that was a short final.
That was a short final, and what a dominant performance from Vladimir. That was just ridiculous. Like, and
Yep.
an 800 rating. I mean, how did he get so good?
Yeah. Impressive performance by Vladimir. So congrats if you will see this later.
Yes, congratulations for Vladimir. And looks like the French players devastated immediately went online. They're not happy about this, even though they're of course very, very strong. But it looks like just like honestly, this didn't even look like an equal finals. Honestly, like Vladimir was just better.
Yep.
I mean, only slight imprecisions for the French player, but just the play with the green meeples was a complete machine and is the first ever Carcassonne Champions League champion. So, but he's not the only champion to be crowned because stay tuned. There's going to be I'm gonna announce the results of the prediction game. And yes, thanks Nalaheim and Vika for pointing out it is yet another 3-0. If we just go over here, look at this, so many 3-0 results. Vladimir won 3-0 in the semifinals, in the quarterfinals. Didn't lose a single game in the playoffs as well because he won against Siegfried just... So it's going to be 11 games in a row that Vladimir has won in all the playoffs. That's just completely ridiculous.
Yeah, against Siegfried, Musachello, you, and Ziv.
Yes.
So not like, yeah. Crazy.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, 700, 800, yeah, average rating.
So,
yeah.
but we need to announce another winner because remember a few weeks ago with Bogdan present, by the way, I announced the prediction game because I will be giving away a copy of the board game Carvey to whoever of you predicted the champion. Now, there are many of you who bet on Vladimir. If we just have a look at this list over here, actually, can you even see it? Yeah, I think you can. Let me just move it a little bit. So many of you bet on Vladimir being in the top 4, and 8 of you, in fact, bet on Vladimir being the champion. You can see here from the stats, but it is only one of you, only one of my viewers who guessed not only the first, but also the second and the third place finisher. It is Zvonimir Vlajic over here. I think maybe his name is covered up by Bogdan, but that's fine. Look, he bet on someone you know being first, and he's first. Viv being second, and he's second. And Alexei being third. Well, there was no third place match, but let's say that I share the third place with the other loser of the semifinals, Vladimir Chendev. So, very precise prediction here by Zvonimir, and I will be shipping a copy of the board game Carvey to Croatia. And thank you, of course, for everybody of you who participated in the prediction game. I am relieved that I will be sending a copy of Carvey to Croatia, not to somewhere like China or Latin America. Honestly, last time in the previous prediction game, I had to send the prize to Belarus, and that was unexpectedly expensive. Also, it took like 3 months to arrive, but
Okay.
This time maybe it's gonna fit my budget. Hi, Vladimir Kovalev, who's in the chat. Oh, and hi, Zvonimir, who's in the chat as well. Congratulations to you both. Vladimir Chendev is saying we can still play the third place match. I would be up for it. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to Carcassonne. So, what else? Things are over. I'm not going to stream any tournaments anytime soon because there's going to be a bit of a break. There's another big tournament coming up, that is of course the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship that's starting on the 15th of April, I believe. Before that, we're going to have our regular streams of viewer game analysis, Carcassonne against subscribers, Azul against subscribers, just the regular stuff like that. But in the meantime, I'm going to thank all of you who have been following the Carcassonne Champions League and have been watching all my streams. I greatly appreciate all your support. And Sergey Zaharenko is asking, 68 viewers, is that a record? I think so. 68 at the same time might be a record so far. I'm going to have to confirm that in the stream stats. So the Mind Sports Olympiad finals a couple of weeks ago, that was 50 something. But 68 I think might be a first. And thank you so much, Bogdan, for witnessing this with me and announcing all the action and providing all your wisdom and insights.
Thank you for inviting me, Alexey. It was a pleasure, as always. During the World Championship, maybe commenting some matches there.
Oh,
and
yes,
also playing.
Yes. I definitely, it is happening. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.